She cheated on me for 2 years behind my back. But when I finally exposed her, she tried to take everything from me, including my home. What happened next will leave you stunned. I never imagined my life would fall apart at the very moment it felt like I had everything figured out. It's funny how betrayal works. It sneaks up on you, hides in the laughter of those you trust, and waits for the perfect moment to rip the ground out from under you. And that's exactly what happened to me. I had spent years working toward my dream. I wasn't born with wealth, but I was raised with grit. My fixer-upper house was my pride, my proof that I had built something from nothing. Brick by brick, nail by nail, I had poured my time, money, and energy into restoring that place. My brothers, one a plumber, the other an electrician, helped me turn it into more than just a home. It was a symbol of my independence, my hard work. Then came her, my girlfriend of 3 years. We met through mutual friends, and for a while, things were great. She was kind, funny, and full of energy. I told her from the start that I only believed in monogamy. No games, no open relationships, no blurred lines. She agreed, and for 3 years, I thought we were on the same page. I thought she was the one. When her lease was about to expire, she suggested moving in together. I hesitated. It wasn't that I didn't love her, but I valued my space, my sanctuary. Still, it seemed like the natural next step, so I agreed. The weekend she moved in should have been one of the best in my life. The house was finally finished. Solar panels, a tankless water heater, and a water softener were installed, marking the completion of a 4-year project. That same weekend, my brothers and I decided to celebrate. We invited friends and co-workers, the people who had helped along the way. The backyard was buzzing with laughter and conversation. Kids ran around, neighbors dropped by with beers, and everything felt right. Until it didn't. The moment it all came crashing down is burned into my memory. I was at the grill, flipping burgers, enjoying the evening, when I saw him. A stranger, tall, confident, walking across my yard with purpose. He wasn't a guest. He wasn't one of my friends. And yet, he strode right up to my girlfriend, wrapped his arms around her from behind, and gave her a squeeze like he had done it 100 times before. My blood ran cold. For a split second, there was silence. The kind that happens right before a bomb goes off. My girlfriend's face turned ghost white. Her friends gasped, some whispering frantically, trying to shoo the guy away. But it was too late. I had already seen everything. Her eyes met mine, wide and filled with panic. Then, she started crying. Before I could even react, her best friend rushed to me, her hands up as if trying to defuse a bomb. "It's not what it looks like," she said. That was the first excuse. The first of many. The guy, still confused, turned to my girlfriend. "What's going on?" he asked, clearly unaware of what he had just walked into. That was when I realized he had no idea I existed. My brother stepped up beside me, taking over the grill. My other brother positioned himself between me and the stranger, just in case. I hadn't said a word. I was frozen, my mind racing to put the pieces together. Then, the reality of it all sank in. This wasn't some random guy. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was her secret. Her hidden life, unraveling right in front of everyone. My friends, my co-workers, my brothers, everyone saw it. There was no covering it up. The party had turned into a public spectacle. Some people were still laughing, unaware of the drama unfolding. Others were dead silent, watching, waiting for my reaction. Then came the whispers. "She's been cheating. How long has this been going on?" Damn, right in front of everyone. I didn't explode. I didn't scream. I didn't break things. Instead, I walked away. I went downstairs to my basement, the space I had built just for me. My sanctuary. My escape. The walls were lined with neon signs, the arcade machines glowing in the dim light. I grabbed a pool cue and leaned against the table, staring at nothing, trying to process what had just happened. A few minutes later, my brother came down, followed by the stranger, the man my girlfriend had been sleeping with. "I didn't know," the guy said immediately. "I swear to God, man. I had no idea she had a boyfriend." I looked at him. I saw the genuine regret in his eyes. And then, he told me everything. They had been together for nearly 2 years. 2 years. Half of our relationship. They met through work, at some big company sales event. They hooked up that night, and it never stopped. He thought she was single. She told him she was single. She was living a double life, and neither of us knew about the other. At that moment, I felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness. Just numbness. "I'm sorry, man," he said. "If I had known." He didn't need to finish. He was just as blindsided as I was. I didn't kick him out. I didn't punch him. I just nodded. And then I told my brother, "Get her out of my house." That night, while the party continued above, my girlfriend was packing her things. Her friends tried to defend her, but it didn't matter. She was leaving, and there was no coming back. She tried to plead with me. Tried to say she made a mistake, that it wasn't serious, that she loved me. But the words were empty. I had spent years building my home, my life. And in one night, she had burned it all to the ground. I woke up the next morning to an eerie silence. No soft rustling of someone making coffee in the kitchen. No sound of her humming to herself while scrolling through her phone. No scent of her perfume lingering in the air. She was gone. Last night had been a blur of betrayal, shouting, and hurried packing. I didn't lift a finger to help. My brothers and a few of my friends handled it for me. She was escorted out of my house. My house the one she had tried to claim as her own. And now, for the first time in years, I was alone. I wasn't sure if I preferred it that way. The news spread fast. Maybe it was because so many people had been at the party, or maybe because the drama was just too juicy to keep quiet. By morning, nearly everyone in our friend group knew what had happened. My phone was flooded with messages. Some were from people who had been there. Dude, I can't believe that happened. You good? Others were from people who had only just heard. Bro, what the hell? I thought you and her were solid. I ignored most of them. Then, there were the ones from her friends. Her best friend sent me paragraphs defending her, talking about how people make mistakes, and you two built so much together. She even threw in the classic asterisk, if you really loved her, you'd at least try to work through this. I laughed at that one. What was there to work through? 2 years. 2 years. That wasn't a mistake. That was a lifestyle. Then, my ex herself started texting. First, it was the apologies. Then, it was the excuses. Then, it was the bargaining. She had nowhere to go, she said. She had given up her lease to move in with me. She had put so much effort into making the house feel like a home. She even had the audacity to say she had a right to live there, after everything she had done. That was when I blocked her number. I thought that would be the end of it. I was wrong. That afternoon, I heard a knock at my door. My heart sank. I already knew who it was before I even opened it. She stood there, looking wrecked, puffy eyes, messy hair, wearing the same clothes from last night. Her best friend stood next to her, arms crossed like she was ready to argue on her behalf. "I need to talk to you," my ex said, her voice trembling. "There's nothing to talk about." I tried to close the door, but she stopped it with her hand. Please, she begged. Just hear me out. I exhaled sharply, rubbing my temples. Fine. 5 minutes. She stepped inside, hesitating when she saw how empty the house felt. The decorations she had brought in, the small touches she had tried to add to make it ours, all gone. She turned back to me, her eyes welling up. I messed up. No kidding. Her friend cut in, rolling her eyes. Come on, dude. You're really gonna throw away 3 years over this? I turned to her, my anger finally bubbling up. 3 years. She threw away 3 years. Not me. And don't act like you didn't know. Silence. Because that was the thing. Asterisk asterisk, they all knew. Asterisk asterisk. Maybe not at first. Maybe they weren't in on it from day one. But at some point, somewhere along the way, they found out. And instead of telling me, instead of having my back, they covered for her. Lied for her. Defended her. I wasn't just betrayed by one person. I was betrayed by an entire circle of people I thought I could trust. I didn't want to hurt you, my ex said, her voice barely above a whisper. I let out a bitter laugh. You didn't want to hurt me, but you slept with another guy for 2 years? Tears streamed down her face. It wasn't like that. It wasn't. I cut her off. Did you love him? She hesitated. That was all the answer I needed. Get out. She started sobbing, but I didn't care. I held the door open, and her friend dragged her away, muttering something about how I was being cruel. Cruel? No. Cruel would have been making her watch as I burned every reminder of her in this house. Cruel would have been publicly humiliating her the way she had humiliated me. I was kind to just let her go. After she left, I did something I knew she would hate. I called her dad. I wasn't doing it to be petty. I wasn't even doing it for revenge. But her dad was a good man. He had always been kind to me, treated me like a son. He deserved to know what kind of person his daughter had become. When he picked up, I kept it simple. She cheated on me, I said. For 2 years. Silence. Then, a deep sigh. I had a feeling, he admitted. That surprised me. She was never good at hiding things, he continued. I noticed little things. The way she'd changed the subject when I asked about you. The way she seemed distant sometimes when we talked about your future together. He paused. I'm sorry, son. His words hit me harder than I expected. I wasn't his son. But at that moment, it felt like he had just disowned her on my behalf. Then, he said something that almost made me feel sorry for her. She's not coming back here. My brows furrowed. What? She came by earlier, tried to tell me some story about how you kicked her out unfairly. I told her she had 1 week to find somewhere else to live. Damn. Her own father had turned his back on her. I should have felt satisfaction. Vindication. Something. But all I felt was exhaustion. I appreciate you telling me, I said. You deserved better, he said. If you ever need anything, just call me. It was the strangest way to end a relationship, with the father of the woman who betrayed me showing me more loyalty than she ever had. The next few weeks were quiet. My house, once filled with arguments, laughter, and late-night conversations, was now just a house again. My brothers kept me company, making sure I didn't spiral. My real friends stuck around. The ones who had known but never spoken up, they were gone. Good riddance. One night, my oldest brother said something that stuck with me. You built this house, he said, looking around. Now it's time to build your life back up. He was right. She had tried to take it all from me, my trust, my confidence, my future. But she didn't build this life. I did. And now, I was going to rebuild. Not for her. Not for anyone else. For me. The days passed in a haze of quiet solitude. The initial shock had worn off, leaving behind a strange numbness. The house felt bigger now, emptier, but I couldn't tell if that was a bad thing or just something I had to get used to. I spent my time fixing things around the house, not because they were broken, but because keeping my hands busy kept my mind from wandering. People still talked. They always do after something like this. Some of my friends, the real ones, kept checking in. Others kept their distance, either out of guilt or because they had chosen their side. Her friends, well, they had made it clear they weren't on mine. It didn't take long before I started hearing the rumors. Apparently, my ex had been spinning her own version of events. In her story, she hadn't cheated exactly. She had just been confused. According to her, I was too distant, too caught up in my house projects, too unwilling to take the next step. She painted herself as a woman who had simply made a mistake in a moment of weakness, one she regretted deeply. And some people believed her. That was the worst part. Not the lies themselves, but the fact that there were people willing to give her the benefit of the doubt, to twist the truth into something more palatable. I was over her, but I wasn't over the betrayal. It wasn't just about what she had done, it was about how easily people excused it. One night, while I was in the basement shooting pool alone, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. *Hey, it's me. Can we talk? *. I stared at the message for a long time before replying. No. I thought that would be the end of it. But she wasn't done. *, please. Just one conversation. *. I put my phone down, ignoring it. Then it rang. I sighed, answering against my better judgment. What? She hesitated. I could hear her breathing on the other end, like she was trying to work up the courage to say something. I miss you. I scoffed. That's nice. What do you want? I just want to talk, she said softly. Not to fight. Just to... I don't know, explain. You had your chance, I said. You threw it away. There was a long pause. Then, the real reason for the call. I don't have anywhere to go. And there it was. Not love. Not regret. Just need. She wasn't calling because she wanted to make things right. She was calling because she had nowhere else to turn. Because her father had kicked her out, her friends were tired of her drama, and she had finally run out of safety nets. She had never truly missed me. She had only missed the security I provided. You made your bed, I said flatly. Now sleep in it. I hung up, blocked her number. And just like that, she was gone for good. In the following weeks, I started to rebuild, not just my home, but my life. I cut out the people who had been complicit in her lies. I reconnected with the ones who had always had my back. One day, while I was out running errands, I ran into the guy she had cheated on me with. He looked different now, less smug, more tired. He recognized me instantly, his posture stiffening like he expected me to swing at him right then and there. I didn't. Instead, I just looked at him, waiting to see if he would say anything. She told me you were an asshole, he finally said. I raised an eyebrow. And she lied. He shook his head, chuckling bitterly. She played both of us, man. I thought she was single the whole time. By the time I found out, it was too late. She's a piece of work. I know, I said simply. There was nothing else to say. As I walked away, I realized something. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. free from the lies, free from the pain, free from the weight of a relationship that had been built on nothing but deception. She had tried to take everything from me, my trust, my happiness, even my home. But in the end, she was the one left with nothing. And me? I had everything I needed.